Hey everybody, this is Lena, and you're watching Lena's Life. I decided to make a video on this channel. Didn't want to waste it on our Real Talk with the Cummings channel because it really doesn't deserve that kind of attention. But I did want to make it on mine because this is my own personal channel that I've had talking about stuff. And, honestly, this isn't the first time I've ever had to deal with hatred and accusation and whatnot. I've been facing this kind of thing. I mean, for those of you who've ever watched my channel, I've been facing this kind of thing for a long time. And I mean, when I mean a long time, I mean like ever since I had originally transitioned. And it's been a long time. It really has. It's been like, gosh, half a decade now. So I have pretty much gotten to develop some pretty thick skin towards all of this kind of nonsense. But, I do have a channel and I do like to document what happens because basically my YouTube channel is like a diary that I keep, here. I don't make any money on this channel. There's no, big subscribers and all that. I mean, for those of you who have been following me, you know that I occasionally pop on here and stuff. Been very busy doing what Mark and I have been doing over at Real Talk with the Cummings, which I do invite you guys to go check out. Lately, we are on pretty much every day, just about. We probably take a day off or something, but we're on every day at 5:30 Mountain Time, and you guys are welcome to join us. It's a great show. We have great topics. We talk about a lot of things, but honestly, when I see these things happen, I just throw up my hands, because I'm just like, here we go again. It was, for those of you who might remember, I don't know if you're old timers watching, I originally came out in public on Facebook in February 14th, 2014. And I got pummeled for it. I mean, my Christian friends from my old Bible college, my family, and other people were just like, how could you, this is wrong. And, and I was like totally sold. I thought, I'm a woman, I am not a man, that whole thing. I was all caught up in it. And, at the time, I had made some new friends and I was dating a trans woman, and, it was like, got ugly. Just to be honest with you, it got ugly. And there was a big, huge fight on my Facebook page, and things were said and people and whatnot. And there's just been so much of that, throughout the time that I've been, on social media. Because prior to that, I had a channel. Well, I never had a YouTube channel until 2014, but I had a Facebook page that, it wasn't a big deal. It was like a place to connect with friends and to post pictures of where I was working because I was very busy at the time. So, there was that whole thing of, look at where I'm at, I get to do this event or I get to do that event and stuff. So I had a friend and the trans one that I was dating, and they had a channel on YouTube, and they encouraged me and said, Lena, you should get on YouTube and share, and so I began my own channel. And it wasn't like for any other reason than just to document what was going on. But I was like attacked I mean, from the very beginning. You abandoned your family. Were a terrible person. You did this and that, and you are this and that and the other. And it's like, this constant attack, constant attack, constant attack. And coming mainly from where? Satanists? Nope. I don't know. Christians? Yeah, from Christians. People that say they will be known by the love that they have one for another. And maybe it is love that they have for one for another, because if they're called to reach out to anybody else who's not like them or who used to be like them, it's off with your heads. That's how they feel. It's almost like the Inquisition happens yet again. And so me, as a newly, out trans woman, at the time, I was just being targeted left and right. There were like people like harassing me, making names like my ex-wife's name, my kids' names and stuff, coming up with different usernames and then just spewing things. At one point, one person said that it was a friend of mine from Bible college who said, I hope that you find yourself in a garbage bin and that you live off of the, scraps or something, for what you've done, and you're an evil, horrible person, all that, right? So, and then I was like, I got off of social media for a while because I was like, I don't know if I want to do this, because it's too painful, right? But then I just kept doing it because I had nowhere else to go. I had literally lost all my friends. And, that's a lot of times that's what happens with late transitioners. They lose a lot of their friends, they lose respect, they lose their families, they lose in every way. So I lost a lot of people in my life, people that I thought, gosh, these are good people that I worked with, that I labored with, literally, that I prayed with, that I cried with, that I went to their funeral of their loved ones with, that I prayed over with. People that I did life with, these people, they didn't want anything to do with me. Because what happens with trans is, if you transition late and you've been a certain person to these people for all of your life, and all of a sudden you change, they're not going to understand it. They're not going to want anything to do with it. And especially if they're Christians, they're just going to want to throw you away, and that's their MO, because their MO is not to love. Their MO is to condemn. Their MO is to accuse. Their MO is to seek to defame and destroy and to discard and to disassociate, and all the D words that have to do with disconnection and discrediting. All these words, right? That's what they do. And this has gone on and on and on now for half a decade. It hasn't changed. Same tactic, different person. Same target, me. And, honestly, I feel sorry for them. because I know that they think that what they're doing is right. But when your focus is on destroying other people, it doesn't matter if you come in the name of Yahweh or in the name of Satan, you're destroying people by your words. Now, me, I'm not going to get affected like I used to because I really don't subscribe to what you guys believe anymore. So your condemnation, the words that you use, your accusation, your condemnation, where you want to send me, how you feel that I'm out to lunch somewhere and that I'm confused and that I don't know the truth. Well, that is your prerogative. That's your opinion. And you're entitled to it. But I don't have to accept it. I don't have to have it affect my life in any meaningful way. So I listen to it, and then guess what? I just send it back to you because it doesn't apply to me. I don't believe in your God, your little g God, who you want to say is the meaning of everything for you. And that's all perfectly wonderful. If it helps you, I have a friend right now who's dying of cancer, and obviously he's clinging to that blood-stained Jesus cross story, crucified, risen, coming back. You know, I'm sure it's bringing him some comfort. I hope it is. And I pray that, I hope, because I don't pray to anyone, but I hope that he's at rest and at peace with himself. But I don't really believe like you guys. So you can say what you want to say and do what you want to do. But I don't know what happened in this world where it all of a sudden became wrong for people to respect other people. I mean, you saw what happened over at the Capitol, over at the Washington Lincoln Memorial. Kids disrespecting a native elder. I mean, what's this world coming to? And it's usually those who profess to be serving God, the Christian God, the one that you say that you serve. And yet, here you are. All that most of you are doing is playing the role of the accuser. And I'm a Bible college graduate, and I know that some people would laugh at my degree because it was from a defrocked evangelist who had sex with a prostitute, but yet, I have a Bible college graduate degree. And I studied the Word. And I know the Christianese. I know what it's like. I've been there, done that, heard it, been it, tasted it, prayed it, all of it, right? And I'm now almost 49 years old. And I can honestly tell you, and there's no shifty eyes or anything. I do have a lazy eye, but that's just my own, defect, if you will. But I know from years of being abused, like emotionally and verbally, by people who call themselves Christians, that what you guys believe is just a bunch of lies. honestly, in my opinion. Like I said, you're entitled to your opinion, and I'm entitled to mine. And that's the thing. When you don't get your opinion respected, then you want to deny me of mine. But I acknowledge yours. Okay? You can have yours, but don't project it onto me, because I'm an individual and I'm a sovereign being, and I have every right to my sovereignty as a human being. So, in the progress of all this that's happened, I was in a conversation with a guy who calls himself Alpha Omega. And just the name itself, I mean, the name Alpha Omega, beginning and the end. I mean, is that not egoic or what, right? So anyway, his name is Matt, and Matt and I had a friendship on Facebook. We did a show with Derek Bros, and we chatted and stuff occasionally. And he knows that Mark and I are a trans couple, that we have a trans history, and that I express my gender differently than, say, Matt would, and that, but he had no problems with us before. He agreed to do the show with us. He was on when I was on praying with him and Mark live on our show and asking God to forgive us for, at the time we were believing in the whole Christianese thing, right? Or to some degree of it anyway. But, I was honestly just very, I felt convicted that I was doing the wrong thing, that we were doing the wrong thing in accusing people. And I decided to make amends for that behavior. And after that, I felt pretty good about what I had done, what we had done. And although we understood that we weren't always going to agree with what Derek was doing or how he believed in stuff, but we agreed that we were going to respect each other and love each other despite the differences. Well, there was this one person that I've talked about earlier in another video named Lori Hill, and Lori was a friend at the time, and she took opposition to what had happened. She immediately asked me if Derek had apologized to me, and I told her, that, this was the text that he sent me. So I shared with her the text. She's like, that was not an apology. I mean, the guy said, and so am I, when I said, I'm sorry. Right. So I would imagine that's, and so am I means I am sorry too. Right. So we passed things up with Derek to a degree. And I made this video. It was called Taking No Offense. Pride is subtle. So I make this video, right? And it's a very heartfelt, honest, no makeup Sunday video, just plain simple, very intimate, up in the face, eyes are a very tight shot. And I was just really just wanting to share my heart, and to be transparent with all of you. Well, it didn't go well for Lori to hear me, get compliments from people who before were against me and against what we were talking about with regards to Derek, the Global Witness. But she didn't make a big deal out of it. She didn't call me a demon or anything like that. Well, fast forward to today. And Matt has his channel called Alpha Omega, and he publishes this video in which he calls me out, and he makes me into like this like hive mind control kind of like under the in the background kind of devious demonic person that's been controlled, you know, by evil and whatnot. So seriously, it's like a defamation of character or something that is libelous, you know. And he says the Cummings were under the threat from Derek Bros with a lawsuit against them. So they submitted to Derek and accepted his forgiveness. Let it be known that anyone who submits to evil and accepts its forgiveness has placed themselves at its feet. When you do that, you have invited him directly into your temple. And I was like, he did this weird thing where he put his hands on a part of the video that I had done where I was talking about being hyperreactive to stimulation, you know, with like, you know, my nervous system is heightened so that the simple tap of a hammer on your, you know, like when they check your reflexes and stuff, that mine are just a little bit more, a lot more than the typical person. And that was supposed to be some kind of a Enochian magic spell, or whatever I'm doing with my hands right now is probably also going to be demonized. And I guess the fact that it's 9 o'clock at 40 seconds mountain time is going to be some evil, you know, sinister Luciferian plot to mind control you guys watching, right? Something stupid like that. So people just started pouring into his comment section, and they're making comments, you know, saying, you're right, these are entities that are showing themselves clearly. Eyes are the window to the soul. They are shifty and full of ego, at least in the case of DB. She just looks confused or drugged. And I'm like laughing because I'm like, if anyone is confused or drugged, that would have been Matt, who said that he likes to go hunting for mushrooms, you know, in Ohio, and that he likes to go like, that he got caught for a DUI and then he badmouthed the officer on his Facebook page back in 2010. So, I mean, they're talking about, see, when people accuse you of something, it's usually because they're accusing themselves and they're dealing with that accusation, you know, because personally, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't like drugs, and I don't like to drink. I remember, you know, Mark used to like to drink, right? So we would go to a restaurant and, you know, it was like, you know, something he liked to do, right? Socially, something that he grew up doing and stuff. Well, I grew up goody two shoes me. I didn't drink. The first time I ever drank wine was when I was living in an apartment back in 2014, and I cracked open a bottle of Moscato with a trans girlfriend. We went outside and we didn't have a wine cork opener, and we went out and brought a boot out to the street by a tree, and we kind of smashed it up against, you know, the tree or something, and we made a video. Or I think I still have that video up on my YouTube channel. But that was the first time I ever drank. I mean, I didn't like it. I didn't like it then, and I just tolerated it later. But yeah, so they paint these pictures of me that just don't exist. I mean, I don't have black eyes with slits in them. I do have a lazy eye, and my eyes are probably My pupils are probably bigger and not as brown as they usually are because of the light, you know. And that morning I had just woken up and, you know, I don't know, whatever the lighting was, right? So Matt writes, exactly. I believe that is what this hive mind does to people. It gives them a feeling of euphoria, making them think they are spiritually saved, sad. And it's like, I'm like, I don't have a hive mind. If anything, the hive mind was in believing in Christianity. I don't think there's a bigger hive mind MK Ultra operation than fundamental Christianity and all of its 30,000 different denominations. You know, this hive mind has destroyed the lives of many cultures, races, and people. This hive mind has been responsible for the murder of more people than any disease would have ever wreaked on human population. So this person, Movie Star Memories, she writes, you have served your country 3 times. What have these people done? You have a beautiful family. What do these people have aside from a twisted doctrine? Now you know why you're being attacked. Well, honestly, we didn't attack Matt. Matt unfriended me on Facebook, and then a week later, less than a week later, after telling me that he has no problem with Mark or myself, he proceeds to make this demonization video of me in which he thinks that I'm using some kind of witchy magic and casting spells on people, drawing people to my videos because they're like, that one video was done at a low volume because I was using a different app to edit it and basically got it uploaded, comments were made, and then it was too late for me to take it down so I could fix it because I'm a stickler when it comes to wanting to make things look right and sound right. So it was too low to me as a production person, and I wanted to get it back out on the Final Cut Pro and raise the volume on it, but it was too late. I had already made the comments were already made, you know. So he goes, you know, she accuses me of what do we have? Well, Mark and I have a beautiful, loving relationship. That's what we have, Movie Star Memories. We have a wonderful love between each other that transcends time and space and is something that you may never, ever have the opportunity to realize. We have a twin flame relationship in which I see him and he sees me, regardless of our biology or our bodies. We have an everlasting love. What do you have? Because that's what we have. We don't have emptiness. We don't have twisted doctrine. What we do have is a mind and an ability to know that we don't know everything and to accept the fact that what we say today may change tomorrow, not because we're being shifted by the waves of opinion and by this world, but simply because we are truth seekers and we are truth tellers. That's who we are. So we didn't attack Matt. Matt attacked us. So Matt says they want what they gave up. I can't believe how fast they changed. It's like, we want what we gave up. We have whatever we sought to get. We have love. We found that love in each other. We had never found that kind of love in any other relationship that we had, either of us had ever been in. So we didn't give up anything. We gained here. Now, whether we made mistakes along the way, that's another topic, you know. But we didn't change, Matt. That would have been, that's you. You changed. You're the one who said, we have a conflict of interest. That's why I don't want to be your friend anymore, you know. So people just keep accusing. You know, one person writes, Lady Penelope, who's a researcher on Lori Hill's, you know, accusation videos of Derek Bros. Great video, brother. Great insight. We have to stay sharp and watch for this stuff. And I'm like, really? And Alpha says, amen, sister. I hope people take this seriously. Something tells me that this is going to get worse if people don't take a stance and push back. And I said, how was this great insight? I mean, the guy just spewed a bunch of made up lies about me. He just accused me of spreading a Minokian magic, whatever that is, and told his viewers that I was like purposefully drawing people into my conversations by, you know, presenting the video in the way that I did. And I don't know, he comes up with numbers and numerology. If anyone's into Enochian magic and casting spells and doing that kind of witchcraft, that would be you, Matt, not me. I don't do that. I just share from my heart. I just speak, and I have no agenda. And I don't go to anybody's page under a pseudonym. I don't play those games. I really don't. I don't have time for it. Mark and I do a show every day. And I really don't have time to mask my identity by becoming somebody else. If I have something to say, believe me, I will tell you. I mean, I don't care if you know my name, Lena Ariel Cummings. That is my legal name. That's it. I don't have a username. I don't use a pet name. I don't have a pseudonym. I mean, I don't do any of that. So, Lori, if you think that that's what I'm doing, I don't go into your chats under a different name. I don't. You know, that person that you accused, that was that person. They're from Australia. They were in the chat. That's not me. I don't do that. I don't lie. I don't tell lies about people. I don't, you know, just gossip about people. I'm presenting facts here. Presenting this accusation that people are throwing against me, demonizing my character, demonizing my person, you know. And, you know, they're pushing back against an enemy that they themselves created. It's like their own straw man. Because last I checked, you know, I don't really care to get involved with all this. That's why I'm doing this on my channel. I'm just documenting it because it is part of my life. So I want to share. I want to let you guys know what's going on. And I want you guys to be, you know, aware of this. So, you know, people are they're just evil. They really are. They're just mean. You know, they're saying that I'm like some reptilian or something, you know. It's like, it's ridiculous. It really is. So a person writes, I don't understand all the people, all the pie and number stuff, but that close-up of the eyes is totally freaky. And he threatened those people with a $250,000 lawsuit. They showed it in their emails. There's nothing they can say about you. I have plenty to say about Matt. Matt is a liar. Matt is presenting false information. Matt is bearing false witness against me. Matt is defaming my character and my person. So I have a lot to say about it, Anonymous Warrior Chick. You were one of the first that was brave to speak out. Derek Bros should have never used your real name. Wrong, so wrong. It's like, what if you have nothing to hide? What does it matter if they use your name? Honestly, what does it matter? I don't care, you know. So then Lori Hill, one of my accusers, says, Alpha, we did some screenshots of Lena's pupils. They were not round. They were flashing cat's eye every time she blinked. She's doing it there too. Holy freak. Ms. Cat-Eyed herself, not the same person, post Baphomet. It's like, wow, I could go on and on about all of this stuff, but I'll spare you guys. I'll spare you guys the rest of it. But the fact is that accusations, shaming people, defaming people, calling people names, making videos to just wanting to destroy people and what the work that they're doing is just not right, you guys. I mean, it's like Matt talks and then all you hear are F-bombs and cursings and things that, he's really rude to people. He calls people like all kinds of really mean and nasty things, And I just sit back and I go, wow, this is what you want to share with the world. This is your message. This is your gospel. This is the good news. This is what you want people to think is anything related to the message of Jesus and his love for mankind in the traditional sense of Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. I mean, beloved, love one another, for love is of God. And, that, you guys are way off. Honestly, you are. And I actually feel sorry for you guys because at the end of the day, you're just hurting yourselves. You're not hurting me because I don't live in your fear-based world. I don't live in your condemnation. I don't live in your damnation. I could care less about what you think of me. I mean, I've been called everything. I've been shamed, ridiculed. I mean, there's nothing that you can say that I haven't already heard. So, someone came in the chat in the comment section and said, he abandoned his family and he did this and he did that. And those of you who watched my channel know my story. And I have been completely honest with all of you about the fact that I have made some terrible mistakes. I have. It is wrong. It is wrong. Some of the things that I did, I regret. I do. I really do. And I don't need to be condemned by anybody because I have already condemned myself. And you know what? I have already forgiven myself because I know that everything happens for a reason. And I have things to work out with my kids. I understand that and I accept it. And my door is always open to my kids. I would love to be in their lives more if it were possible. But you know what keeps us apart more than anything else? That damn Christianity. Yep. Not love. Love wouldn't keep those walls up. Love would love regardless, right? I mean, if my child were to murder somebody, I would love my child regardless of whatever they did. If my child, was confused about their gender, I would love my child no matter what. If my child, decided to, become a Muslim, I'd love my kid. Wouldn't matter. It really wouldn't. Because love knows no bounds. Love has no borders. Love does not hold anything, right? But Christianity and its judgmental, condemning, and damning religious bigotry and hypocrisy has basically separated me from my children, you know, and that is unfortunate. And I wish it was different, but you're not going to condemn me over it because I've already forgiven myself. I already know. And, all I need to know is that my kids love me and that I love them. And I didn't get that given to me any better than the day that I met with my son in Chicago. It was a wonderful time. Let me tell you, I was dealing with guilt. I was dealing with pain of like not being able to see them. And when I saw my oldest boy in Chicago, I was just beyond elated and happy. I scheduled a time. It was miraculous that we were even able to meet together. But I was in Chicago mistakenly. Actually, my plane had kind of like rerouted me there. I was at the time, flying up to Minnesota, and the planes had kind of messed with my schedule and routing and all that. So I ended up spending the night in Chicago. So I contacted my son. We were going to meet before, and then we actually ended up meeting the evening before I was going to leave. So I get to downtown Chicago by like where the trains depot is and stuff. And I'm like in this little kind of like market place, and I'm buying a, what was it? I was buying some oatmeal, some organic oatmeal at a vegan store there, and I'm paying for it and getting money out and handing it to the register. And I get a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and there's my boy. Oh my God, he's a man now. I was like, wow. I hadn't seen him since he was 16. Here he is 19, right? 20 actually. He's 20. And we gave each other the biggest hug. It was like he's told me, Dad, it's been too long. It's been too long, Dad. And I was like, you are right, son. It really has. It really has. And we just looked at each other. We smiled at each other. And it was a wonderful moment. I mean, I was just beyond happy at that point. So I was charging, my phone was dying. So they had this really cool little device that you could charge your phone and like have like a code and charge it and then leave it in there and stuff while you went shopping around so it could charge. And so I pulled my phone out and I asked him, where you want to go eat? And he's like, let's go to Chipotle, because we used to go to Chipotle as a family. And we ended up going to Chipotle for dinner, and I ended up eating dinner with my son. The first time I had been able to do a meal with him since, oh my gosh, I think it was a Chinese restaurant in April of 2014 that I had last eaten with him. And he was all smiles. He wasn't condemning. He wasn't judgmental. He wasn't rude. He wasn't anything. He was loving. And he just told me about some stories that he had, he had from being in college. And, he's a college kid, so he's got all these stories, right? So we're eating, and I'm having my vegan chicken, my vegan burrito, and he's having his chicken burrito and stuff. And we're just sitting there having chips and guac and just shooting the breeze. And it was beautiful. We had a wonderful moment, wonderful time. And out of the blue, he looks at me and he goes, Dad, you know what? I want to let you know that regardless of how you feel about what you did or didn't do, I just want to let you know that you were a good dad. You were a good dad. And I was like, wow. If I needed to hear anything, it was that. It was that he affirmed me because I was a good parent. I loved my kid. I wish things were different. I really do. I wish I would have done things differently. And I think had my accident not happened, maybe things could have been done differently. But, you know, woulda, shoulda, couldas, we can't live there because they're not even possibilities. They're just woulda, shoulda, couldas. And, you know, there's a lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas in your life too. But if life doesn't turn out that way, you can't project that onto yourself because that just does nothing but confuse you. And, you know, it's like, yeah, you could go, it's like you get out on the highway, right? You could go left, right. You could make a U-turn, you know, but you're only choosing one direction. So what does it matter if you don't go backwards on the, you know, and go make a U-turn or get off on a certain exit? If you didn't do it, you didn't do it, right? So I lived with regret for a long time, thinking that my kids thought, or at least one of them thought, that I was just an abandoner and everything else that people would say. But he just was so kind, you know, and loving in his response and said, I love you, Dad. I really do. And we need to do this again. And who knows, right? Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Had Mark and I not gotten back together again, yeah, maybe we would have met again. I was living in Minneapolis at the time in St. Paul, and the train station was half a mile from me. I could have hopped on the train and we could have had another meal at Chipotle. But woulda, shoulda, couldas aren't what life is about. Woulda, shoulda, couldas are not real. So what really happened was I ended up coming back home and, you know, continuing this wonderful, loving marriage that Mark and I have, this commitment that we have to each other, and this relationship that we are promised to each other over. And I have no regrets. I really don't. I don't have any regrets with going back to New Mexico, and I don't. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything. I'm thankful that we have our home, that we have this life, and that we are able to share our lives with you guys, and that we're able to share our lives with each other and grow old together. Because it sucks to be alone. It really does. And there's lots of trans people who are alone right now. Lots of trans people who did all the things they wanted to do. They got their face broken and feminized, and they got their SRS, and they, you know, they got all the things they wanted to get, right? All the things that they think is their promised end of the rainbow, you know, wonderland, land of milk and honey. But at the end, they're by themselves, they're empty, lonely, and they have nobody. Well, I have Mark. We have each other. And we are very grateful for that. And there's no Enochian magic. There's no sleight of hands. There's no lowering of my volume to get you to listen to me closer. There's no trick of the eyes. There's just a human being, me. That's it. I am a person, but this isn't me. It's not. It's not. I'm not a gender. I'm not a physical body. I'm a spirit being navigating through life in this reality that we call planet Earth, which is, believe it or not, a perception as well. So the Matrix is a very proper way of describing all of this. We are in an alternative universe, and this is not our home. This is not where we're from. So accusations are going to continue. I understand that. Everybody has a role to play, and we all have our accusers. And if you don't have an accuser, then maybe you're not doing anything that makes a difference. Because I notice that whenever I do something that makes a difference, that's when the hate comes. You know. And Mark and I are doing something that we love to do. We love to share our lives. We love to give of ourselves. We love to help people empower themselves and to believe in themselves and to be able to dream again, you know, to be able to see their divine strength and the beauty that they possess as humans. Because we are family. We are one. We are one. We're not separated. It's the illusion of the separation that makes us think that we are. But in all honesty, I want to tell you, Lori, Alpha, Pilgrim, Eden, Morning Star, Movie Star Memories, Cerulean, I mean, all these people, right? I want to tell you that I love you. And I forgive you. Because I really don't think you guys know what you're doing. I think you guys are caught up in the matrix of this control, fear, damnation type system that we're brought up in this country. And, you know, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for what you're doing in thinking that you're doing something for God, but you're actually, well, not. Just to put it simply, you know, if you find yourself in the role of being an accuser, that's usually a good idea that you're not on the right side of this. Because the true source of all is not an accuser. And there is no judgment. We judge ourselves. We condemn ourselves. We crucify ourselves. I don't know if you guys saw that movie, The Da Vinci Code, where the guy in the movie, one of the villains or something is like beating themselves, you know, and inflicting harm on themselves. And, you know, I think that that's exactly what you guys are doing. You know, all that angst, all that anger, all that frustration. I guess it's got to go somewhere, but it would be better to just release it, you guys. What's the purpose of carrying it for? What's the purpose of throwing that hatred at other people who are seriously just wanting to make a difference? No one's trying to indoctrinate the world to believe some other religion, some other belief system. We're just here to say, you guys are beautiful. You guys have everything that you need to succeed within yourself. If you didn't read another book, if you didn't watch another video, if you didn't hear another person speak, if you just went inside and rediscovered who you are and the potential that you have as a human being, as a soul, as a spirit, as a spark of divinity, that's all you need. You don't need anything else. You don't need anybody else. You don't need a savior. You don't need a guru. You don't need the next messenger and the next, Buddha. You don't need anybody. You just need to realize that you have everything in here. That's it. And that is the only thing I want others to understand. That is what I believe in. I don't believe in a God. I don't believe in a system. I don't believe in, a rapture, a heaven, a hell. I don't believe in, worshiping any deity. I don't believe in any of that. I believe that we are here to simply love and cherish our human family. That's it. No judgment, no accusation, no condemnation, no destructive behaviors, no belittling people, no accusing people, no calling people names, no making videos about people and how they look or the choices they made in life or anything. We won't hold other people to the fire, because when we do, we're just projecting what we have inside of us. So anyway, thanks you guys for listening, and I hope that I was able to explain myself. I hope that you guys have a great night, and thanks for watching this hour-long session here. Well, I love you guys, and I love all of my enemies. You guys keep doing what you're doing. You have your duality to perform. Everybody needs a villain on this stage of life, this game of life, this theatrical production that we call life. And we shouldn't take it so seriously because, we do this to ourselves. In the end, I probably did this to myself, right? So if I have anyone to blame, it's myself. So you guys do what you do and try to love. That's the most important thing. Try to make videos that help people instead of destroy others. That's a much more nobler task. It's a much more nobler task. So we'll see you guys and next time. Okay, bye-bye.